that said that Puffy tried to kill me. I left them parties early. I was out by 9. Something don't look right. It's slippery in here.
People been playing with Diddy's name for a long time now, and he got a message for everybody. What Jamie Foxx did on Netflix is what you call a defamation of character, since they making it seem like Diddy wasn't the one throwing those wild Hollywood parties. They can take all them freaky things they said about Puff and put it on Jamie Foxx easily. And if he get out of jail, all those celebrities that turned their back on him might have to face that man in court. The rumor is Diddy issuing warnings to all them people that claim to be his friend back in the day. It's about to get messy. I'ma let y'all know exactly what they saying he said. But before we do that, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button too. Without further ado, let's get into this news. Jamie Foxx debunked Diddy's conspiracy theories about his hospitalization. He had people thinking that Diddy the one that put him in a coma. Now he taking back everything he said because it's looking like Puff about to be coming home anytime soon.
Well, I hang with P. Diddy, a lot, man. Sean, Puffy Combs. We hang out, man. I mean, we party. I call him Black Gatsby, man.
Jamie Foxx laughing off his party days with Diddy, poking fun in his Netflix comedy special, Jamie Foxx, What Had Happened Was, which is streaming now. The actor and comedian breaking his silence about his road to recovery after his near-fatal stroke last year spawned conspiracy theories on social media.
Your said I was a clone. You really thought I was a clone. Listen, I was having dinner at some eatery in Vegas, and I walk out, and my daughter's behind me, and she overheard the dude go, "That ain't that. That's a clone. Diddy got that. That's a clone. That ain't Jamie Foxx."
What Jamie Foxx gonna do if Diddy come home from jail? Crack another joke? If they put Jamie Foxx in jail, people wouldn't care because the real Jamie Foxx been dead a long time ago. Allegedly, this man is a clone, and he's speaking on real people, cause do real things. And since he ain't a real nigga no more, he need to watch his mouth. I ain't no Diddy supporter, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And Jamie Foxx dead wrong, speaking on Diddy for being old and gray. If Jamie had that Beijing and a couple of different hairlines, he'll probably be Morgan Freeman. Better yet, he'll probably look just like Ray Charles if Ray Charles was still alive. Samuel L. Jackson, he'd probably be the oldest dude in Hollywood. Best believe Diddy been taking notes on all of the people that been slandering his name. He got straight up cases that he could use against him, defamation of character. I don't think Jamie Foxx ready for what's coming down the pipeline because this case looking like he gonna be home anytime soon. He better hope they let him play the piano in jail because it's looking like that's where Jamie Foxx gonna be going. Not to mention, he freaked off with Cassie as well. But the information that they got, they not trying to disclose that stuff to the public because these celebrities got deep pockets. I'm talking about millions of dollars. Some of them even got billions of dollars. They be investing in Bitcoin and stuff like that. So Diddy got reasons to go up in their pockets because they definitely mess with his pockets. When he get out of jail, I don't think he gonna be dead broke. But sooner or later he will because he's so blackballed, it's gonna be hard for him to get money out here. So all these people talking and making up these stories, it's looking like they're gonna have to take back everything they said because if Diddy ain't got no money coming in, the only way he gonna have money coming in is if he sues somebody. And Jamie Foxx debunked all them Diddy conspiracy theories about his hospitalization. He said it was Puff that put him in a coma. But if you really think about it, he had to be on some bad drugs. Like he said, he was in the best shape of his life. He don't even understand how he had the stroke. But if he just kept it real and say that he was partying a little too hard to be 50-something years old, then he could have left Puff's name out of it. But since he was partying with Diddy, he wanted to blame the bad drugs or whatever it is he took on Puff just to make it seem like he innocent and Diddy's guilty. Jamie Foxx is addressing conspiracy theories that Diddy Combs played a role in his 2023 hospitalization. Now, the tables is turning. He was able to get away with that back then, but it don't look like he gonna be able to get away with it any further. And that's why people listening hard to them prison cells, they ain't heard it through the grapevine, they heard it through the toilet paper. Diddy is planning on doing some terrible things to these celebrities, and one of them just so happened to be Jamie Foxx.
Jamie holds nothing back when it comes to Diddy's downfall, even referencing this shocking discovery during his federal home raids.
Baby oil, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
How'd you like? I was in that tunnel though. It was hot in that tunnel. Am I going to the wrong place in this? Because I looked at the end of the tunnel and I thought I saw the devil like, come on. Was that Puffy? I'm around, but if it was Puffy, he had like a flaming bottle of Johnson and no, I'm just
And he hangs out and he makes it. He says, he'll tell you he's rich as he wants to be. He is really 52% tax bracket. He does not mind telling you.
But I gotta tell you this, Atlanta, you can't clone this. I brought you too much original. It ain't enough clone juice in the world to clone me.
My man said ain't enough clone juice in the world to clone him. The real Jamie Foxx would have never cracked no joke like that. And if he did, he ain't had no business on no Netflix special. I can't wait for Diddy to come home, because I already know what's going to happen. It's going to be people trying to leave the country, move in with Russell Simmons. They already hurting in the pockets. You ain't got no blockbuster movies coming out. Michael B. Jordan might be the only celebrity with a bag. And Denzel Washington, Alzheimer's kicking in. He ain't gonna be able to play no more roles. Plus they had him zesty in the Gladiator movie. It's gonna be hard to bounce back from that. They got Denzel Washington on tape kissing another man in Hollywood, and they worried about them Diddy tapes dropping. What about Halle Berry in The Monsters Ball? And Diddy was in that movie too, and she freaked off with Billy Bob Thornton. She might be going to jail at 60 years old, menopaused out, career stopped. Angela Bassett was doing that Michael Jackson movie, freaking off with Tito Jermaine. I don't know if y'all heard, but it's a lot of people out here worried about their livelihood. Everybody on edge. The AI is taking over. That's not only for regular people out there, but for celebrities as well. Celebrities already done been cloned. My man said ain't enough clone juice in the world. What he know about that clone juice? We ain't even know it was such thing, but he know what they got him sipping on. It ain't the alcohol, because that's what he used to blame things on. Now he trying to blame everything on Diddy. People canceling him. Y'all know when Puff come home, it's gonna be a whole bunch of bandwagoners talking about, I ain't believe them rumors. I was a fan since day one. Y'all already know what's about to happen. In a roundtable discussion with several other comedy stars for The Hollywood Reporter, Fox spoke about recovering after his nearly fatal stroke. He recalled that while he was in the hospital, he was heavily sedated and on multiple painkillers. And his altered state, he got his phone to see what people were talking about his then mysterious conditions. So he got on his phone trying to see what the world was talking about. Brand new clone, fresh out, don't know what's happening in the world. He said, so they men in blacked me and I'm effed up and this isn't funny, but I snuck in my phone because I didn't know what the outside world was saying. How you a celebrity and you gotta sneak into your phone? What type of cloning facility they had him in to where he couldn't just reach over and grab his phone if he willing and able? He was keeping a lookout for them nurses. They try and make sure he functioning correctly or he don't put the wrong ideas in his head. They let the clone get a hold of the phone and he been regurgitating what he been seeing on the internet ever since. But Puff don't care nothing about none of that. They got a whole lineup of people trying to take Puff down in the court, but none of them got that Jamie Foxx money. So if he trying to get out quick, y'all know what he got to do. He gonna have to sue.
Now to another big story. And 2 weeks of testimony in the Sean Combs federal sex crimes trial, wrapping up with dramatic allegations, including a break-in at rapper Kid Cudi's home, his car set on fire, and an ominous warning from Combs. Plus, more claims from former employees about the assaults and injuries ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura says she endured. Jurors now on the break for this long holiday weekend. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all federal charges, including racketeering and sex trafficking by force. So here now to break down this high-profile trial, criminal defense attorney Joshua Ritter, host of the Courtroom Confidential podcast. Joshua, great to see you. All right, so I want to talk about some of this testimony. Kid Cudi testified about his home being broken into, his car set on fire. We've also heard from a male escort who testified to creating, quote, sexy scenes with Cassie under the direction of Sean Combs, and then Diddy's former assistant who testified to seeing Combs assault another girlfriend. Which one of these three men do you think potentially had the most impact?
I actually think it's Kid Cudi, and that's because the things that he is testifying to brings us outside of the realm of domestic violence and these kind of sex crimes that we've been hearing a lot about. Remember, in a racketeering case, they have to show a criminal enterprise and these ongoing criminal predicate acts that we refer to them as. Something like arson, something like that car bombing that Kid Cudi testified to, the break-in, residential burglary, all of those things start to paint the picture that this is far more than just an incredibly jealous or abusive man, that this is someone who is willing to extend beyond that and commit crimes. And that, I think, is really moving the needle as far as the racketeering charges go.
All right, so Joshua, let's talk about both sides have brought up this victim 3, this also known as Gina, although she is now not expected to testify. First of all, what are your thoughts on how she fits into all of this, especially if the jury doesn't actually hear from her directly?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the prosecution to actually establish the elements that they need for her charges if she does not testify. And I imagine if they are not able to either locate or get her to cooperate, they may not go into closing arguments with those charges still attached to the case. But if they are able to prove up those charges with her or without her, it goes further towards this idea of sex trafficking, this idea of sexual exploitation, and again, towards the racketeering. You know, all of this kind of fits into that overall scheme of a criminal enterprise. But I think when the government starts to extend beyond the freak-offs and beyond the abuse, they start to paint a fuller picture for the jury of just really how this person operated like a criminal.
So, yeah, Joshua, let's talk about that. I was just talking to somebody here at work yesterday saying that they don't feel like they're seeing that this is actually, you know, federal crimes have been committed. Do you feel like the prosecution up to this point is doing a good job of laying out the framework of Combs, you know, allegedly having this criminal enterprise to build this racketeering case against him?
They got his top witnesses laid out like Mortal Kombat characters. Which one y'all picking? You got Kid Cudi looking like a black Johnny Cage, Cassie looking like Katana, Cassie mother looking like Sindel. You got Dawn Richardson, Jackie Briggs, The Punisher looking like Jax. You got Sonya Blade at the end. Which one y'all picking? Because they all lined up to take out Diddy like he's Shao Kahn or somebody. This trial gonna go on, and when it's over, when it's finally over, your brain cells gonna be gone. I don't know if you got a weed medication card or whatever the case is, but you might want to get one because it's either that or the Diddy trial. It's gonna be people out here stuck on stupid for years after this. Men gonna be getting accused of doing the dumbest things. It's gonna be brothers sitting behind bars and sitting up in court while they trying to figure out who ate the frosted flakes. They're about to pass some Diddy laws in a minute, but I feel bad for his kids, especially his mother. I feel sorry for his mother. She should never have to witness her son going through something like this because they like to have a good time. They rich, they black, and they like to party. They like to drink, they like to eat, and do some other things as well. They only human. He ain't broke none of the laws as far as humanity goes. But if he was involved with kids and all that, where that's at in the trial, that's what they need to speak on. Jamie Foxx might be one of them type of weirdos. They need to look in his dirty laundry and see what he got going on and what he done did. Because while they going on and on about this one man and his consensual relationship with his girlfriend, I think it's something bigger that they covering up.
I agree with your coworkers that you were speaking with. There was a problem. There was a lot of questions of, we saw a lot of evidence of crimes, and those crimes were domestic violence type crimes and sexual assault type crimes. But where was this federal racketeering moving into this? It's a complicated law, and it does require certain acts to show that this was in furtherance of a overall criminal enterprise and other people working in concert with that. And it seemed like most of the witnesses were just testifying to this relationship and corroborating Cassie's claims of suffering at the hands of Diddy. But now, like I said, with Kid Cudi and some of these other witnesses, his assistant talking about an attempt to hunt down Suge Knight at one point armed with weapons, this starts to, like I said, now fill in those pieces and create this fuller kind of tapestry for the jury of understanding how this was a criminal enterprise. They were all serving the ongoing needs of Sean Combs, and that's why the racketeering charges might be more applicable from this time moving forward.
All right, so Joshua, there's been a lot of salacious testimony, a lot of shocking testimony, but it's been just that, basically, setting the scene with words. Do you think the jury will be shown the actual video footage of any of these so-called freak-offs?
I think they might need to, because of the point that you just made. It's one thing to hear from witnesses. It's another thing to have witnesses further corroborate those witnesses' claims, but it is something else entirely for them to actually see videotape. If they have videotape, not just capturing what looks like an elaborate party, or a party that none of us might quite be able to wrap our heads around, but actual assaults, people being forced to do things, that's going to be very impactful evidence. If the government actually has it, I would be surprised if they did not use it.
And last question for you. We've been looking at this from the prosecution side. Let's look at this from the defense side. Do you think the defense, at least to this point, is successfully countering these assertions from the prosecution?
I think you have to admit that they've made some headway along the way. I don't know if they've done enough to create reasonable doubt in the minds of the jurors, but when they're asking questions, certainly with their cross-examination of Cassie that took place a few days ago, when they're showing text messages that show her anticipating, looking forward to, sometimes planning some of these freak-offs, then you start to create questions of how much was this done without the consent of the people involved. Yes, maybe inside of their head they didn't want to take part of it. Maybe it wasn't something that they enjoyed doing, but that's a very different thing from saying this was non-consensual, this was forced upon them by fear or other power tactics. And that's really what needs to be proven to the jury. And I think the defense has done a serviceable job up to this point of calling that into question.
I want to ask you something, since you are a criminal defense attorney. Earlier this week, we saw that the defense opted not to cross-examine Cassie's mom, Regina. Do you think that was a good idea?
Strategically, I think it was smart. I mean, with the small points they may have been able to score with her, how would have that maybe perhaps backfired with the jury? A lot of this is about optics, right? You got to think, is the juice worth the squeeze? Am I going to come after this woman who's just talking about protecting her daughter for a couple of, minor points and inconsistencies I could point out, and will the jury hold that against me for actually coming after the mother? There's sometimes a strategy in just saying, thank you for being here, sorry for the trouble, but we have no questions for you.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. All right, criminal defense attorney Joshua Ritter, thank you so much.
Yo, y'all gonna have to let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section. What's really going on out here in the world? I really can't call it. These people need to quit playing these games and get down to some real incriminating things, or else end the trial. As far as Jamie Foxx taking back everything he said about Diddy, he's scared because he know that them jokes wasn't even funny enough to defame a man and ruin a friendship. They used to be boys back in the day. He said it plenty of times, that was his man's, and he still crossed him up for some cheap jokes. Now the table's about to be turned. They're going to be looking for somebody else once this Diddy trial is over, whether he go to jail or not. They not just going to let Black Hollywood rest. There's too much money out here to be made. Who is going to be? Oh, man, if they drag Tyrese through the mud and bring his ex-wife and all his girlfriends and whatever he had going on with the Fast and Furious movie, Tyrese secrets exposed, DJ Envy Charlemagne the God caught up in it, man, that's going to be big news. Primetime TV. Any of them dudes, really. They could get one of them basketball players caught up bad, the Michael Jordan scandal, the Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas scandal, the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh sex triangle. They could do it either way and make $1 billion off of brothers out here. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. I got so much love for y'all. Make sure y'all do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'ma holler at y'all on my next video.